Hello guys, welcome to this new series where I will be tier ranking albums from various of artists. Today we are going to start with Eminem. We are going to rate all of his albums starting from Infinite, Slimshady LP, Marshall Mathers LP, The Eminem Show, Encore, Relapse, Recovery, Marshall Mathers LP2, Revival, Kamikaze, Music to be Murdered by Side A and Side B. Make sure to watch till the end and don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get back into the video. So, we will start with the Infinite album, which was released in 1996. It was the first album of Eminem and it didn't have as much attention as expected, but I do think it's a good album and I think it deserves a spot in the good tier. We continue with the second album of Eminem, the Slimshady LP, which was released in 1 year after Dr. Dre signed him in 1999. It's a classic album, contains great songs, Role Model, My Name Is Etc. It's a classic album and I think it should be in the excellent tier. Now, we move on to Marshall Mathers LP. It's a classic album released in the year 2000. It's often considered to be Eminem's greatest album, containing hits like Stan, The Way I Am, Kill You, The Real Slim Shady, etc. I also think it's one of his greatest albums, and it deserves to be in the perfect tier. Now we move on to the album, which I believe it's his greatest album, and it's one of the greatest albums made in rap history, The Eminem Show, released in 2002, containing hits like Without Me, Till I Collapse, Business, Sing for the Moment, etc. I do think we all agree that this is also a perfect tier album. Now we move on to Encore, released in 2004. Now I believe it has good songs, but it is not even in the debate to be compared to The Eminem Show or Marshall Mathers LP. But it has some songs that I really like, such as Mockingbird and Like Toy Soldiers, and I think it's not a bad album, which I believe it should be in the not bad tier. We continue to Relapse, which was released in 2009 after taking a break from music because of his drug addictions. I don't understand why people didn't like this album when it first came out, so I believe it's his most underrated album, containing songs like We Made You, Beautiful, Stay Wide Awake, and Forever from Relapse Refill, and I do believe it should be in the excellent tier. Next is Recovery, an album released 1 year later after Relapse. The album was dedicated to anyone who's in a dark place trying to get out, containing great hits like Not Afraid, Love the Way You Lie, Spacebound, No Love, etc. I believe it's the only album which doesn't contain a song that I don't like, but I also think it's not his greatest album, which is why I am going to put it in the excellent tier. And now we go with the Marshall Mathers LP2. It's another classic album from Eminem to drop the second part of Marshall Mathers LP after 13 years. I think it's one of the best albums from Eminem since 2009. In this album we have songs like Rap God, The Monster, Berserk, Survival, Bad Guy, etc. And I think it deserves to be on the excellent tier. After 4 years, Eminem returns with another album called Revival, which is an album highly criticized by the public as it contains a lot of politics-related songs and a different Eminem that we are used to seeing. So I will pick up some songs that I like on this album, like A Rose, Castle, and Framed, and I think that this album cannot be compared with other Eminem albums. For another artist could be a higher tier album, but for Eminem to compare with other albums, I think it's on the bad tier. Next up, it's Kamikaze, which Eminem released in 2018, and it was a surprise album, and it was an album for which they criticized Revival, and Eminem felt Revival shouldn't have been treated the way it was. It contains some great songs like Greatest, Lucky You, Fall, Venom, etc., and I think this album deserves to be in the god tier. In January 2020, Eminem drops another surprise album called Music to be Murdered By. Music to be Murdered By became Marshall's 10th consecutive album to debut at the Billboard 100. It contains songs like Godzilla, Darkness, Lock It Up, and I think it deserves to be on the good tier. And later that year, Eminem drops the side B of Music to be Murdered By. It was a really great album, I think a little better than side A, and it contains songs Nat, Black Magic, Book of Rhymes, Higher, etc. And I also think this album deserves a spot on the god tier. I think that's it for today. Make sure to like and subscribe, and if you think otherwise, make sure to leave a comment, and see you on the next video.